The concept of what if Sonic was scary has been around for quite a while now, but unlike everything else in the hyper-realistic bloody eyes genre, it's not very good. Sonic.exe, a tale older than time, a tale written by a pedophile. It's not a good story at all, but I've always had an affinity for it because of how flexible the concept was. Creepypastas in general, and especially ones to this ambiguity, have a certain freedom to them where they're accessible enough to the point where people who are passionate about the material can get out there and make it through their own lens. And Sonic.exe has proven not to be an exception. Just search Sonic.exe on GameJolt and be amazed by the thousands upon thousands of projects that all stemmed from this really shitty little story. Or be disgusted, I don't know what your takeaway is from this. But something I've always admired in the idea of Sonic buddies on a drug trip is when creators dabble their toes into bait and switch. You know, when something presents itself as charming and innocent, but then you boot it up and holy shit, what the fuck. And this extends outside of just stories too. Fan games, series, fan fictions, and the subject of this video, Roblox. In search of something to finally pull off bait and switch horror right in the sonic.exe community, no less than Roblox, I found something. I found Sonic Saves Robloxia. An insanely creative and interesting project that seemingly came out of nowhere. Created by a team of developers named Open Your Mind, Sonic Saves Robloxia is a supposed archival project of a game created by a now presumably absent Roblox user named Foxy Tales. This game was influential for its time and was deleted somewhere in 2015. This project focuses on restoring the game to what it once was, and removing any of the inappropriate content that was hidden within. We are not associated with Foxy Tales, and we are only restoring this for archival purposes. This game was very impactful in my childhood and deserves to be archived. But upon looking deeper, I found not only a bait and switch horror game with, well, good bait, but also extremely effective horror. When I want to play a bait and switch horror game, sure, the switch up can be good and I want something creative out of how the bait is used, but if the horror isn't impactful or in most cases scary, I'm not gonna feel attached with what I'm engaging with. Fortunately, this game does it amazing and nothing like what I've seen in the Sonic.exe community before. So instead of writing it off as another horror game trying to be retro and using Sonic with bloody eyes as its main selling points, we're gonna dive right into the eyes of the beast. The game starts with a message from an unknown figure.
Do my senses deceive me? They do not. The soul flows in front of me. A lost one at that. If you are to find your way, you have to forfeit the beaten path you are roaming in. This world hides than it shows. Remember that.
After that, we then spawn into the game. That strange entity that was just speaking to us is and will remain unknown for quite a bit of the game. But what we do know is that we are lost, and through the means of shitty Sonic Advanced sprites, we can find our way through. Jumping to the warp ring in the lobby, we're given some story. The story starts in Eggman's lab. Eggman is filled again after taking over the planet, and frustrated, he had a devious idea.
Whoa.
Essentially, Eggman uses Roblox as a way for Sonic to not stop him. I don't know how that works, but he does it. After that incredibly thought-provoking and better than Sonic Force's Devant on fanfic plot overview, we get to jump into the computer and save Robloxia. Upon jumping to the computer, we meet the Blue Rat himself in Green Hill Zone. Oh my god, it's 2017 again. Actually, now that I think about it, this game was probably made years before everyone got tired of Sonic Team bringing back Green Hill, so I'll allow it just this once.
Whoa, hey there, pal. It's me, Sonic the Hedgehog. My friends are in trouble and have been trapped by Eggman. Can you help me find them? Come, follow me.
Alright, Sonic, I'll follow you. He's just as slow as he was in Sonic Frontiers. Following the path set for us, we don't actually seem to be in Green Hill, and instead we're in the classic Roblox map, Crossroads.
Want to race to the end of this platform? I see a bridge over there so we can get to Eggman's lair faster. Last one to the end of the slowpoke.
Alright, Sonic, I'm waiting.
No, nobody is faster than Sonic, except for every seagull in Sonic Frontiers.
Making our way to the bridge, it just decides to catch a blaze apparently, because of Eggman's doing. Tasked with finding another way through, Sonic spots Tails in distress at the top of the tower. So making it through the extremely threatening motorbugs and utterly disturbing spine suitcase, Tails offers us a ride to where Eggman trapped Knuckles. Making our way to Sonic, he's just standing in front of a large pile of bombs, so in order to get through, we're gonna have to detonate them. There also seems to be a long cord running from one of the piles of bombs. Following it leads us to a button that detonates the bombs and... Oh, never mind, he's alive. Making our way to the entrance, we enter a prison. We find Knuckles, and he tells us to go after Eggman. So making our way through the hordes of badniks and meeting up with Sonic and the gang one final time, we head back into the computer and stop Eggman once and for all. Jumping into the ring sends us back to Green Hill, where we can celebrate this victory with everyone else. And that's how the game ends, right? No paradox or points of interest, just a simple little adventure. We are incentivized to replay the adventure, so let's do just that.
Congratulations. You've beaten the game. But this isn't what you came for, is it? I'll give you a hint. Recall to when you both first met. Beyond the boundary, secret is kept. One corner hides a vein between worlds. Pass it and soon his name unfurls. Good luck.
With this mysterious figure talking to us again, I am 99% sure it is in referral to when we first met Sonic. Something about finding the boundaries of our first exchange with the blue blur and surpassing said boundaries to find truly what we came for. Upon heading back to Green Hill and replaying the game, in the first area that we meet Sonic, there's a strange intersection in one of the walls. And upon going through it, the ambience changes. The entire game is granted with a more posterized look. We are in the meat of it now, and to start we're given a simple little riddle.
When I arrived, you gazed at my grace. Now you turn away, hiding your face.
The puzzle is pretty self-explanatory. All you have to do is rotate the totems facing away from the pillar in their respective lines of degree. Once that's done, the riddle changes.
In the sinister tower hides the devil's eyes.
This is very much in reference to either the tower Tails was at, or the tower by the pile of bombs. Looking inside of Tails' tower, there doesn't seem to be anything there that changed. So observing the other tower by the piles of bombs, we find the devil's eyes. We're put into a room. 4 orbs in the middle, and a hand on each of the 4 walls of the room. The 4 orbs represent the mind, the heart, the soul, and the body. All you have to do is match each orb with a description that matches up with what they represent. After completing the puzzle, we're sent back to Green Hill as normal. Progressing through the story, once we make it to the prison, you'll notice that Eggman and Knuckles aren't present. Going inside of the cell that belonged to Knuckles, you'll notice an unlit torch. Clicking it opens a doorway which leads to our final puzzle. We're put into a room with a plethora of orbs and instructions to go along with it. All you have to do is follow the path the instructions have set out for us using the orbs. And once that's done... I don't like this. We're still in Green Hill, I won't deny that, but it's very white. Green Hill's looking a lot more like White Hill right now. The entire vibe of the place has changed, not to mention the extremely off-putting screeching in the background. We can go back to Green Hill. I'd much prefer to be nostalgia baited right about now. Going back down the beacon path, we make our way back to the computer and finish the story as we usually would. But when we make it to Green Hill to celebrate with the others... We spawn in a monochromatic void. A plethora of other figures roam the area as well, seemingly corrupted beyond recognition. Going up the set of stairs set out for us, we're led to a little obby that will take us to the top. It's almost as everything here has been set out for us specifically. There's a ton of other, I would assume, absent-minded figures here, but we're the only ones to acknowledge the path. At the top, we find an image of Tails. Leaving the void, we seem to be incarnated as, whatever the hell this is. We're also in a cavern of some sort, the only thing illuminating our surroundings being ourselves. Making our way through the cave, we get to a point where we finally see something. Someone. What seems to be Tails chained up, with signs around him saying, traitor. Tails in most sonic.exe projects pretty much always normally gets the short side of the stick. I get that in the original EXE story, Tails was the first victim, and he's like Sonic's best buddy. But like, what the fuck did bro do? Walking inside of Tails, we take over his vessel. There was a quick time event to rip his fucking arm off. This also implies that the weird orb thing we were playing not too long ago is a soul. Our soul in particular. Most EXE stories have their victims represented by the Sonic characters being played with by said EXE, and this game is no different. I feel like an incel saying all of this. This Tails vessel is what we'll be playing as from now on. We grab a torch in the distance and follow the path this unknown entity has laid out for us. This is the part in the game where you find out you can sprint. This is where the real challenge begins. Making our way into the light and at the end of the shaft, we're sent to a bridge in the middle of nowhere. Sorry, not the middle of nowhere, the middle of Eden.
That's the broken path. If you have the bits, enough exposure can try someone down.
What this essentially means is that once we drop down into the abyss, we're put on a constant time limit. If we stay in the pit for too long, we'll be driven to madness. Though by using the upper platforms, we shouldn't be affected by the insanity. To less of an extent at least. Regardless, we still have to cross the path. Finding a vine just long enough to reach the upper platform, we can climb it to get to the other half of the bridge. Oh, but we're not done yet. There's still more broken fragments of the bridge that we have to find our way across. It's essentially just the same thing though. Don't stay in the abyss for too long, find the upper platform, and climb the vine.
Now, climb the hill. Once you reach the top, use the same to the hallway to the statues.
Looking at the statues, they seem to represent Sonic as a god, or at least a figure of divinity. Descending down the hole as we're tasked to, we're met with a new objective.
Rise and shine. My power is diminished in the area you find yourself in. You will have to fend off for yourself. Fortunately, I was able to leave this message here in order to guide you. This maze hides totems that need to be brought and assembled back together. I sense that there are 3 of them in total. Complete this task and you shall earn your freedom. May luck be on your side.
I can only assume this was written by the same figure that has been helping us throughout the game, the entity from the beginning, and the entity that was taking us to Eden. They could very much be 2 separate people, don't get me wrong, as one of them claims Eden as its own, but it would make sense as to how the figure from the beginning is so knowledgeable in terms of telling us how to progress. I could be looking too deep into it, so feel free to call me slurs in the comments. Don't do that. We've been tasked to find 3 totems in this labyrinth, and finding them will grant us our freedom. Picking up a nearby torch, we also come across a previous unfortunate soul, making it instantly clear that we won't be alone in here. The notes scattered around the body pretty much just verifying that. The task itself is pretty simple, and I say that just as the torches go out. Why the torches going in? I didn't like that, but regardless, we found a note. At last, my group has arrived to what will soon become our new home. Thanks to our master's guidance, we were able to arrive undetected. Preparations are still being made so we can set in properly. Our determination has brought us this far, and I'm certain that no hardships will ever demoralize us. For he is always with us, and we are always with him. I don't know if it's just me, but this gives off very cult-esque vibes from the get-go. I can assume him is in referral to the figure that has been guiding us throughout all of this. Not only does this tie back to the statues of Sonic being represented as a god, but also ties back to Alex's vessel being chained up and labeled as a traitor. I can only assume he either didn't want to listen to this guiding light of ours, or frankly, betrayed the group that is mentioned here. Essentially, when the torches go out, it means the creature that is also in this labyrinth is nearby. What is this creature? I have no clue, nor do I want to find out, but it's pretty easy to avoid. If you notice the torches fading out, just hide under the nearest table as soon as possible. This entire section of the game is amazing, as not only does it do a good job at keeping you alert, but it's also constantly putting you on edge. You're always staring at the torches in hopes of them not fading out, and if they do, you have to make a game plan and hide as fast as possible. It's an amazing segment, really. After finding one of the totems that makes the loudest sound ever to be conceived, we finally get our first look at the creature. Oh wait, no, never mind, he's gone. Going to place the totem down, we come across another Tails body. Yeah, it seems that the group that came here didn't have much luck with facing the creature. There's actually a ton of Tails corpses in... What? Torps? What the hell is a torps? There's actually a ton of Tails corpses in this room, with some more laced than others. After placing the first 2 totems down and grabbing the third one, this is the obelisk, otherwise known as the Beast of the Stronghold. A creature sent down by the father, no, not that father, tasked with hunting down and killing the original guardians of the totems. The thing's an amalgamated mess and will instantly kill you if you don't hide before it sees you in its line of sight. It now forever roams the halls of the labyrinth. With the original guardians of the totems dead, it has no purpose other than to kill any unfortunate travelers that come its way. Upon placing the last totem, we're sent to Eden one last time. A vast open field devoid of any color, and our best friend Sonic staring us down. Hey, you good, man? You look a bit too saturated. Okay, I will admit that was funny in my head. We can also see a bunch of totems and more statues of Sonic being represented as divinity. This is my favorite one, that shit looks laced. And in that distance, we can see a figure waiting for us. Gaze into the infinite sea and the still air while you can, because a storm is brewing, and you cannot avoid it long. Fate has your name written in its tumultuous waters. I'm gonna be honest, as soon as the credits rolled, I completely forgot this was a demo up until this point. The game isn't done, and with how it ends, it pretty much tells us directly that there will be more to come. But even then, I feel like there's a line in the sand for what I can speculate so far and what I can't. Sonic Saves Robloxia is a play on nostalgia. I don't want to sound like that guy who thinks like this whenever a game uses nostalgia to affect the player, but in essence, that's exactly what this game does. It weaponizes nostalgia. If you were a Sonic fan in the late 2000s and early 2010s and you used Roblox in some way, you'll know how accurate and jarringly authentic this game's setup is. Almost as if I can vividly remember playing this game as a child even though it frankly never existed. And using such a good base like this to home in effective horror to this degree leads to some of the best we've seen from this community. In the sonic.exe community, there is a character called Allfather. A character that, to my knowledge, debuted in a Friday Night Funkin' mod, but that's besides the point. The Allfather is an overarching entity in Sonic Save Robloxia, an unknown ancient entity that lives and thrives on its own influence. Allfather exists and grows the more exposure he gets. The more attention that is granted to him, the more he evolves and learns. He is the creator of Eden, he is the god that we heard about in the Stronghold, he created the obelisk, and he is the one who is using Sonic Saves Robloxia to exploit unsuspecting players. Sonic Saves Robloxia, in this universe, was a game that actually did exist. Allfather seeing its vanishment and knowing that it can be weaponized upon others, he turned it into his little playground. This, in all honesty, is a really cool concept that is executed, I'd say, pretty perfectly. You can argue that the aesthetic and mythos of old Roblox being weaponized against the player has been a concept used time and time again, but this is sonic.exe, a concept known for using nostalgia and reminiscence of the past to lay one's guard down and being susceptible to the final lining. The game before shit gets messed up and evil is so expertly crafted and well done to the point where at the end of all of it, you'll forget you're playing a horror game until it's in your face. It genuinely felt like I went back in a time machine and started playing old Sonic Roblox games on the family computer at like 8 years old, along with like Super Smash Flash 2. Despite Allfather guiding us most of the way there, I refuse to believe it's in good faith. My guess is that he made us go through Eden so we could get to the Stronghold and get killed by the obelisk. But since that didn't work out, he gets pissed when we come back to Eden. We also meet Raikon, who could most likely be the person who was talking to us at the beginning of the game. I say this because Raikon refers to our little trek as his game, in referral to the Allfather. So yeah, they're two different characters, go figure. But after Raikon puts us in the right direction, Allfather takes the wheel. But when his plan doesn't work out, Raikon is glad to see us back in Eden. Despite it being really simple and obviously the game isn't finished, the storytelling on display here is really damn good. This game feels like a love letter to this era of Roblox, while also feeling like a love letter to the EXE community. Sonic Saves Robloxia, even as it stands right now, is amazing. I don't think I can name another Roblox horror game that genuinely made me feel the way I felt after finishing this game. Because this game further emphasized the fact that adapting a bad concept and using it to make something that is special to your own experience with said concept can improve on the already established aspects of a story. This game was obviously made by people who care about the source material they're tackling, and have been impacted by the themes and relationships with these characters, and it shows from the moment you start this game. That's really all I have to say. It's best to stop there before speculation becomes dabbling into things that the developers never intended to invoke, especially when the game hasn't told its entire story. This game is wonderful, and I cannot wait to see where it goes from here next.